Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and today I'm hoping to do a quick video recapping Apple's WWDC that just happened this past Monday. It wouldn't really say that anything that Apple announced was really necessarily groundbreaking. I think a lot of it was kind of almost more like housekeeping type of stuff and improvements to things that they released within the last 2 years, such as SharePlay, live text, visual lookup, things like that. But yeah, let's get right into it and see how short I can keep this video because they definitely announced a lot of things. So it's nothing that impressive really, but I'm definitely excited about some of the announcements they made about lock screens. So now you can personalize your lock screens so that it's more like your Apple Watch faces. You can save different lock screens and just swipe between them and pick which one you want. You can add widgets to your lock screens. You can change the look of the date and the time, such as font and color. Put filters on your wallpaper. Did this cool thing with when you have portraits on your wallpaper, you're able to give them like this multi-layered effect and bring like the subject in front of the time. But yeah, definitely mostly excited about the widgets. And now they're having notifications at the bottom of the screen, which I think kind of just makes sense. Now they'll roll up and they won't cover as much of your wallpaper. Another really cool feature is live activities. So without even leaving your lock screen, you can now see real-time updates for apps that obviously, have interfaced with Apple's lock screen and see real-time updates like when your ride share is going to arrive, or live sport updates like if you're trying to keep track of a game, or even if you're doing your workout, you can literally just look at your lock screen and you'll get updates on your workout statistics. And then all of these lock screens will integrate with focus mode. So if you're in work, you can recall a specific lock screen that, will keep you focused for work. Or if you're in sleep mode, you can put like a nice relaxing picture. The iCloud shared photo libraries, you can seamlessly share your actual photo library with up to 6 people. That way you can more tightly collaborate on things, contribute to, and just enjoy photos from other people. I can't say I really care that much about that, but who knows, maybe I do use shared albums a lot. So maybe I'll end up liking this more. But yeah, so for messages, definitely everybody's really excited about, or I guess there are probably some people who maybe don't like this, but after you send a text message, you are able to edit the text if you misspelled something, or you can recall a text message, which I definitely in the last month have more than once sent a wrong text message to somebody. So that would kind of be a nice feature. I'm guessing you maybe can't do it like after they responded to that text message, or if you did delete a text message and didn't want to, you can recover recently deleted messages. You can mark conversations as unread, which will also be useful. That way if you can't respond to somebody right away, but you want to remember to respond, just mark it as unread. And SharePlay can now be accessed right in the Messages app, and it seems like they did that with a lot of their other apps. They really wanted to more tightly integrate SharePlay. The Mail app got some updates. Again, you can schedule emails, you can cancel delivery if you do it quick enough, and a couple of other updates like Remind Later, Follow Up, and some updated search features that are a little bit more intuitive and maybe helpful. Live text is pretty cool now. You can actually do it with videos. I think everybody who's seeing this is thinking back to college, and if you had to take any sort of programming courses, being able to watch the YouTube video and just pause it and copy the code right into your program would have been amazing. I definitely use live text in my photos quite a bit. So yeah, I'm excited to see how well this is going to work. And then you can also quickly translate text, convert currency, and more. And then the visual lookup tool, the little eye at the bottom, when you take certain photos that will identify an object. Now I'm assuming if it's able to identify a subject like a plant or an animal, you're able to actually hold on that subject, and I guess it essentially will remove it from the background and make a copy of it, and then you can paste it into things like messages as long as visual lookup is able to capture the subject. I'm excited to see how well that feature will actually work. Let's see what else. Apple Wallet got some updates. They now have an Apple Pay Later. Everybody wants you to finance things and pay things off over time, so there's no fees for that. So you can do Apple Pay Later anywhere the Apple Pay is accepted online or in an app. I don't think you could like go to the grocery store and pay off your groceries, but if you can buy it on your phone and Apple Pay is accepted, you should be able to pay later. For participating merchants, you will be able to also see order tracking right in your wallet and be able to view detailed receipts. And of course, they're going to keep on expanding on their support for keys and IDs. I don't think where I live they have the IDs yet, but I'm definitely excited about that. Or if I had like a car that I could start with my phone, that would be awesome. You can share these keys and IDs with others. If you needed to let somebody in your room, you could just text them the key and then they could do it. And then you can also use the IDs that are in your wallet for age verification. So, if you live somewhere where you could Uber Eats alcohol, then you would be able to prove that you were over 21 all in your phone. CarPlay definitely looks exciting. I definitely do not have a car that has CarPlay, but that will probably be a standard for my next car. But it's not until late next year that we're going to be seeing some of these interfaces roll out. But I guess their goal is to basically be more tightly integrated with the car's hardware. Kind of looks like they're trying to take over designing all of the vehicle data data that's visually on like your dashboard basically, which looks incredibly sleek. I'm sure they're just gonna keep making that nicer and nicer, and maybe one day they'll put out their own car, who knows? All right, so Safari also has some updates. You can, again, do the whole SharePlay thing. It seems like with Safari, you're able to collaborate and share tab groups now with other people. They announced this thing called passkeys. Honestly, I don't fully understand the technology or like how it's gonna work, but I guess it's kind of like a verification app a little bit. Basically, they're trying to replace passwords and use unique digital keys, and then use your biometrics and keychain codes in your app, in your iPhone or whatever your Apple device is, and syncs that across all of your devices. And the idea is that your passwords are never really being used and nothing's ever leaving your device. So, you know, if a server or something got hacked, and you're less prone to like phishing scams. So I can't fully picture exactly how this is gonna work, and I'm sure it's very dependent on people who will be working with Apple. Like not everybody will accept passkeys right away, I'm sure. But yeah, love seeing new security updates for protecting your information, so that's exciting. Apple Maps, they're still trying to make that better. They finally added multi-stop routes, and I think you can do up to 15 routes, which, I mean, I plan ahead, but like not that far. That's cool, I guess, and you can save and recall those routes. They also added some transit features where you can see how much a journey will cost you based on like, oh, you have to take a bus here and that's gonna cost you that, and then a train would cost you this to that location. And then they did some updates to family sharing where it seems like they kind of just simplified the setup and managing your family a little bit more, and children can now ask through messages if their parents can approve them more screen time. I saw a tweet from somebody that was basically like, so our parents are now drug dealers for screen time. Dictation, they made it more fluid to move between voice and text. They did some improvements to their home ecosystem. I'm definitely very much in the Apple ecosystem, but their home stuff's really expensive, and I feel like their plugs that work with Apple Home are much more expensive. Right now, I still just use Alexa and Alexa-enabled devices because I feel like that's a much more affordable range. They announced support for something called Matter, and it basically seems like they're trying to make one new connectivity standard for all of your smart home devices, so that way everything will then work in your home app, whether it's Google or Alexa. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna work out, but that would definitely be nice because I have so many smart plugs and everything, and the idea of switching to Apple's Home is daunting. Like I have light switches specific to Alexa. I don't really want to have to tear all that out and then replace it, and then plus it's more money. But yeah, it should make it so that you're able to have a wider variety of accessories working together, and that will hopefully work seamlessly across platforms. So Fitness put out an update where you can now use your iPhone to close your Move ring. I don't think it works for the standard exercise ring, but if you wanted to compete with your friends and at least have it tracking your steps, it finally does that now. Health did an update also where you're able to manage and track your medications, that it seems like you're able to track in the app interactions with different things like with alcohol or maybe with other medications. And then they added this really cool safety check feature, which like I never would have even thought about it, but basically it's a new privacy tool that helps users whose personal safety is at risk from domestic or intimate partner violence. And basically it seems like it's almost like a button that you can click and it will quickly remove access to things that you've granted others. If you're running out of your house, you know, quickly, and all you can grab is your phone, if you click this button, it would disable messages and other things on all of your other devices that might still be at the location, so that like the person who's trying to harm you can't get to you and like see that you're communicating with other people, which I think is just super brilliant, and hopefully that can help people out. So WatchOS. As usual, we got some new watch faces. The workout app, that's definitely the thing that I'm most excited about for the watch. They give you a bunch more workout views to choose from. It seems like now you can scroll, you can have different views so you can see different things. They added heart rate zones, which is really exciting. I've had to like download other apps over the years to make up for that, and that will help you to be able to more closely monitor your intensity during a workout. Another really great one, again, I've had many other apps trying to do this for me. You can create custom workout with intervals, which will be great for running. And then running metrics, you know, they're finally trying to catch up with Garmin a little bit in some areas. Apple's battery life still sucks compared to Garmin, but at least now they finally have vertical oscillation, stride length, and ground contact time. And you can also interact with more of your previous runs, so you can race against your best or last result or frequent routes. That makes it more fun for people who are competitive and trying to push themselves. And then they also have this new pacer experience where you tell it the time and distance that you want your run to be, and it'll be like, okay, you need to maintain a 12-minute pace. And then I'm guessing while you're running, if you speed up to a 10-minute, it might be be like, okay, well now the rest of the workout needs to be like a 13-minute pace or something like that. And then also finally, guys, triathlon workout is here. It's not triathlon specifically, it's multi-sport, and it looks like it's configured to sense whether you're running, swimming, or biking. That way, if you wanted to do it in any order, it would automatically be like, okay, you're swimming. All right, now you're running again. Oh, you got back in the pool, you're swimming again. Pool workouts are now also able to detect if you're doing a kickboard stroke. I did do a group swimming thing for a while, and then whenever I would do the kickboard, I'm just like, I'd leave my watch running so it would track my heart rate, but obviously wasn't seeing any of those laps because your arms aren't moving. Now you're able to say that you're doing a kickboard stroke. You now can get more detailed information from your sleep. I do sleep with my watch and my Oura ring on pretty much every night. I never really look at my sleep data in Apple that much, but now it's finally able to track your REM, your core, or your deep sleep. So it's finally some more insights that you can get from your sleep with your Apple Watch. Notifications will be less disruptive on your Apple Watch. Normally when you get a notification, it would take up like the whole screen. Now it kind of comes in more like on your iPhone, just a little banner. Now, the two bigger hardware announcements that we got. The MacBook Air, we'll talk about that one first. That one definitely had the biggest overhaul. They did a complete body change. It's no longer tapered. It kind of has the same body as the most recent MacBook Pros, where it's just very flat and clean looking. And now they offer MagSafe charging with your MacBook Air. It comes in 4 different finishes: silver, starlight, space gray, and midnight. Everybody's excited about the midnight. I'm kind of wary. I feel like that looks like that could hold a lot of fingerprints, which is a deal breaker for me, but maybe not everyone. The screen is 25% brighter. I think that's for a total of 500 nits now. The FaceTime camera is now 1080p, and the new charging brick has 2 USB-C ports, and it's a 35 watt, but then if you wanted to do a fast charge, you're able to use the 67 watt brick, and you can get a 50% charge in just 30 minutes. And probably the most exciting thing about this new MacBook Air is the M2 chip was announced. I think everybody maybe saw that coming, and if you were like me, you probably panicked and were like, okay, well now does it make all the other chips not obsolete, but is it better than the M1 Ultra? And based on everything I'm hearing, the answer is no. But basically in the lineup, you have from low to high, it's honestly still like M1 and then M2. The M2 is literally just replacing the bare bones M1 chip. I mean, the biggest replacement that you're getting with the M2 over the M1 is instead of being maxed out at 16 gigabytes of memory, you can now get 24, which is definitely very impressive, especially in the Air. The M2, it seems like it might just be a little bit more power efficient in the computer. The M2 definitely does take over the M1 now, but the M1 Pro, Max, and Ultra are still better choices if you're looking for a more powerful computer right now. My guess is that we're not gonna see the M2 chip in any of the other Pro models this year, but I'm gonna wait till the fall still and hold out and see what happens. The M1 MacBook Air is staying at its $999, and now the M2 is $1,199, so $200 more. Then we have the MacBook Pro 13-inch, which they literally did nothing to the body. I think that's the only MacBook in their lineup now that still has maintained that touch bar at the top instead of a fully functioning function row. So some people might love or hate that. And I think this is also the only MacBook now that does not have MagSafe still. I'm not sure why anybody would choose the MacBook Pro over like even the M2 MacBook Air. I would either probably get the MacBook Air or just upgrade to the MacBook Pro 14 or 16 inches. Yeah, because it doesn't have the ports, doesn't have MagSafe, and the body still is the same. And honestly, I'm a little bit over the TouchSense bar. All right, here we are. macOS. Everybody wanted to know what the new operating system was called, and it was Ventura. That is what we have next after Monterey. All of the things that I mentioned in the beginning under OS 16, a lot of those things are integrated. So the Safari, the Mail, Messages, SharePlay being more places, all of those will also be given to all of their iPadOS, macOS, and then your iPhone OS. But something that is exclusive to the MacBook and your iPad is something called Stage Manager. I don't think I'm gonna really be using that on my computer. It seems like you're losing a lot of screen real estate. Like I don't jump between apps that often. I prefer to have my whole screen be used for my windows. But I guess the idea is to have everything at a single glance so you can more quickly choose between stacks that are on an app. It looks like, you know, if you had like 2 different windows on Excel, you click on it and then dig down deeper and pick what you want from Excel. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that being super useful on the MacBook for me, but something pretty cool that I think blew everybody's mind is this thing called continuity. Like, okay, using your iPhone as a webcam, not like groundbreaking, but the fact that they're using their wide angle lens on the iPhone to give you like an overhead view of your desk is pretty impressive. They must use some like de-warping software and moving pixels or something because there's no way the image image naturally looks like that, but that was really impressive. And then with your iPhone, you're getting all the cool tools of center stage, portrait mode, and a new studio light, which will be useful if you have trouble with lighting yourself on your webcam. And then yeah, you can get like these mounts that I'm sure lots of people will start making to have it nicely attached to the top of your MacBook. Again, Safari has more collaborative features that have been added, such as the tab groups, and each tab group will have a dedicated start page, and then you're able to like actually text or FaceTime right from Safari, and you can see like what people are in what tabs and stuff. If you're planning a trip or something, that definitely could be useful. Spotlight finally got a couple little updates. It's supposed to be easier to navigate and more powerful, and you can actually find photos based on like a location, people, scenes, or objects. You can search for artists and movies and things. It seems like you can maybe just use Searchlight more than just going to a web browser for a lot of stuff. And it has some built-in productivity tools such as a timer. I don't think we've seen updates to that in a long time. And then iPadOS, the absolute most exciting thing is it's finally getting its own weather app. I have literally no idea why it's taking them this long to do it, and it still doesn't even have a calculator, but thank goodness it finally has a weather app, so you don't have to go to a web browser or download special app. And then it also has a cool new collaborative feature called Freeform, and it kind of resembles OneNote, I feel like, because it's just very like a floating whiteboard type of thing. It's supposed to be more collaborative, and you can use with FaceTime, and then your message thread will then show user updates right in the text thread. I'm curious to see if you can use Freeform even if you're not trying to collaborate. Now, Stage Manager, like I said, is also on the iPad. This I definitely can see being way more powerful. It'll be better for multitasking, and it's also the first time in an iPad that you're able to overlap windows and make them different sizes on an iPad, which is really powerful. Stage Manager offers full external display support while you're using it. So between using your monitor and your iPad, you're able to have 8 apps simultaneously running in your stage. So if you're really into Stage Manager, that's going to be awesome for you. And then I guess kind of the last thing is they mentioned that the iPad's trying to get more desktop class apps. I'm not sure that they've done a whole lot with that yet, but I think that that's the direction they're moving, to make the iPad a little bit more like a computer, but not too much of a computer that you would just get an iPad or just get a MacBook. They updated the find and replace feature in the iPad. They now have customizable toolbars. You can change file extensions, and you can view sizes in files. But yeah, so those are definitely the highlights, I think, of the keynote. The new MacBook Air with the M2 chip, and then the MacBook Pro 13-inch will be coming out next month, so that's July. Of course, all of the OS stuff you're not going to be getting until fall when the new iPhones come out, which always is exciting. I think that that's it for this video. I think I caught most of the main important stuff. If I missed anything, sorry about that. Let me know what your guys' favorite things that they mentioned in the keynote are. For me, I think it might be the watch updates, honestly, and then Stage Manager on the iPads are probably the things that I'm most excited about. And then I'm curious about the visual lookup and being able to copy and paste the subject. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe and turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.